needed healing. I lived my life from the deep belief that peace and joy can only be found on the far side of a dream realized, a change of venue, or a goal achieved. But the behaviors that once served to protect me against pain in my early years became barriers to meaning and connection later in life. It was not until I confronted loss and intense pain that these protective behaviors failed. Here, I discovered for myself what I knew to be true for my clients. The unlikely path to healing begins when we release the behaviors we once trusted and find ourselves with empty hands. Only empty hands are open to receiving what we need in the transforming reality of God's grace. I also used to think that the enemy keeps us enslaved only by making us miserable. But I'm learning that one of the ways the enemy holds us captive is to make us comfortable without Christ. He gives us the illusion that the good life is a self-constructed story in which we are at the center, instead of a God-breathed story of grace in which we are transformed and called to empty ourselves to those around us. I envisioned Christ's pursuit of me as a rescue from unwanted circumstances, but sometimes God's rescue looks like prying our fingers off what we think we want so that we can receive what we need. This is not a book about how to look on the bright side or how to search for the silver lining in the cloud. It is a story of how God took my loss and wove it into His story of redemption, which provided me with an essential and beautiful transformation. From Lost to Found is divided into 4 parts that help us identify 1. What we are losing, 2. How our reactive behaviors are failing us, 3. What joy is there for us to find, and 4. How we can move forward by choosing to walk in the freedom God has for us. In the accompanying PDF, you can find discussion questions that will help you process these ideas in the quiet of your own heart or in groups of trusted friends. Because here's the good news. God is writing a story of redemption in your life too, one that offers the same transformation I found. As you journey with me through my story, my prayer is that you will find your own. I pray that you will do the difficult but worthy work with me as we discover the healing that we need to give up those things you think you want for what will truly set you free. Part 1. Called Out. The Pain of Losing What We Think We Want. Chapter 1. California. Losing Comfort. We are far too easily pleased. C.S. Lewis. A text message alert burned blue on my phone, catching my glance from the corner of my office. The light was easy to spot in the small windowless room. With tan carpet and a beige couch to match the walls, the room and everything inside it was the color of chewed bubblegum. Annie left. The phone suddenly felt heavy in my hands. My fingers hovered over the screen as I struggled with how to respond. What to say? The red light glowed above my office door, abruptly announcing the arrival of my next client, my last appointment of the day. A reply would have to wait. My client wasted no time pouring out her story, but I was distracted as I thought about my own story, one that was changing without my permission or direction. Between concerned nods, mm-hms, and how does that make you feels, the basic building blocks of counseling conversation, the 2 words tumbled around in my mind. Annie left. I began to chew on those words and wrestle with the meaning of them. No matter how I put the puzzle pieces together, hoping for a different picture at the end, the picture was the same every time. Our life was changing without my consent. My husband's colleague Annie had left her job, and her position was now open on the other side of the country. Ever since Jimmy began his career as an intern at ESPN, he had dreamed of joining its business strategy team. There were 3 potential positions that would make this career move possible. One was in Los Angeles, where we currently lived and where I was content to stay. Another was in New York City, where I might consider living. I had always fancied myself the kind of girl who could pull off a New York chapter. And then there was one in Connecticut, where I could never imagine living. The thought of moving across the country to a small